Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Market Minute. My mission is to help you better understand the latest trends in the U.S. real estate market and share with you my analysis and industry expertise. I want to help you gain an advantage and feel confident whenever you're buying and selling real estate. I'm your host, Mark Salib. I'm a passionate real estate professional, advisor, and investor, and I love what I do. Follow and DM me on Instagram at The Salib Group. Send me an email, mark@thesalibgroup.com. And as always, thank you for tuning in to today's show. This morning, Redfin released new pending home sales data, and the numbers were surprisingly very, very strong. Pending home sales, in fact, they were so strong, according to Redfin, it's the biggest increase in pending home sales in nearly 3 years. So is the housing market back? Is it finally waking back up? Are buyers simply getting tired of waiting? Because I think there's a very important psychological shift happening right now in the housing market, and I'm going to break it down for you. Now, Redfin's report released this morning, pending home sales rose 9.6% year over year. This is the strongest increase since September of 2022. That's a pretty big deal, especially when you consider mortgage rates are still quite elevated and affordability is still challenging. Home prices are still pretty high in most markets. So what's going on exactly? Well, first of all, let's get into what do we mean here. Pending home sales measure homes that actually went under contract. That's it. That's simple. That's all it looks at. Buyers and sellers, they've agreed to a deal. They're under contract, but the sale hasn't fully closed yet. So pending sales are important because even though, yes, we know contracts can fall through, most of the time they don't. And so it often acts as a leading indicator for future housing activity. So it's very interesting to look at. Now, I'm going to tell you why Redfin says sales improved. According to them, several things they pointed to helped drive the increase in pending home sales. One was mortgage rates. They point to mortgage rates and how they temporarily fell and dipped around the low 6% to 6.2% range, which obviously helped improve affordability somewhat, right? I mean, of course that's going to help. Now, they also noted that inventory got better. So buyers went out on the market and realized there's a lot more choices, a lot more options for what I can buy. And when they realized this, they found stuff they liked. They realized they have more negotiating power because they don't like something in one deal, they can just move on to another. And so inventory improving, certainly. Now, they also talked about monthly payments getting a little bit better, although not dramatically, but enough to bring some buyers back into the market. Redfin also pointed to spring seasonality, normal spring demand likely helping out. All right, now that's all fine and dandy, and honestly, I don't disagree with any of those points, but I think there's something much bigger going on here, and I think it's a psychological thing. I truly think that buyers are finally, well, and I'll even say in the last 6 months to maybe 8 months, they're tired of waiting. They are tired of waiting. They've spent 3 to 4 years waiting for lower mortgage rates, waiting for things to get more affordable, waiting for prices to come down, and it's not happening. Now, mortgage rates have come down some over the last 3 years, but let's face it, we're still at that 6% range. We haven't seen anything anywhere near 5, 4, 3%. But here's the thing. Life doesn't stop, right? People still get married. Life keeps moving. People still have kids. They relocate. They get new jobs. They change jobs. They need more space for whatever reason. You know, you hear a lot about multi-generational homes, right? Baby boomers moving in with their kids even, or kids staying at home, right? So, you know, there's always a need. Whether it's to move closer to family or whatever it may be, take care of a relative. Some people just can't wait anymore. Like they just can't. And I think that what we're seeing is a bit psychological because, well, it's not like things have gotten more affordable. If anything, much less affordable when you tack on all the inflation we've been getting over the last several years, and even more so in the last few months, which I point to in the last few episodes prior to this one. Now, there's I want to call it an emotional point here. I think buyers are out there and they're just going, I give up. I mean, maybe rates will never go back to 3%. And maybe they're just finally coming to terms with the fact, right? Or at least they have. I mean, remember, this Redfin data is year over year data. It's comparing last April 2025 to this past April 2026. Okay, and it's seeing a rise in pending home sales by nearly 10%. That's a lot of people going, I'm okay with buying this house at 6.4% 30-year fixed rate. Or even close to 7%. Because if you go back 3 years, we were at 7% and a bit higher than that. That's a major psychological shift if that's true. Now, big caveat here that I got to say. Doesn't say anything about affordability getting better. It's still tough. Doesn't say anything about home prices. Doesn't say anything about monthly payments. Insurance is still high. Monthly payments high. Prices are elevated. Taxes are high. Everyday living expenses are high. Right? Higher even. Right? And we're seeing it in the data. We've been talking about it the last two shows. We talked about CPI data and PPI data, Consumer Price Index, Producer Price Index, measurement of data for inflation. There is rising inflation. There is rising oil. There are reflation concerns out there, and I'm one of the people that has that concern. So buyers are clearly coming back. Now, will this latest data tell us that they might hit pause? Well, too early to tell. For now, it doesn't look like it, but I don't think we have enough data to figure that out yet, right? Because inflation, I mean, we're just getting these readings now. It's just now hitting our pockets. Now, oil spiked just in the last few months. So while there might be some data showing some buyers putting pause when I talk to different mortgage brokers, for the most part, mortgage applications are still fine. People are still applying for a mortgage. So that's a good sign. All right. Now, is this the beginning of a rebound? Is there potential for a housing rebound? Or is it just, we had a good year and we got some slightly lower rates and we got more inventory? That's what we're trying to figure out, right? I think the report from Redfin does show, I think this data does show how important it was when mortgage rates went back down into that low 6% range. I think that little bit of improvement in affordability did bring buyers back into the market. I truly do believe that. But I still think even with higher rates, I still think there's more of a psychological shift. I still believe that people are just done. They just want to move on. And I think that if they can afford it, okay, if they can afford it, if let's say they got more income, or let's say an inheritance, or whatever it is that they got the money, they're like, I want to buy a house. I'm not going to put my life on hold, anymore, right? And I think that's going on. I'm really sure of this, and I'm going to call it. It's not the housing market improving necessarily. It's not going down either. Right? We can see that in the data. Prices were generally flat or slightly up year over year on most, market trend analysis. At least the data that we follow from the major players, anywhere from Realtor.com to Cotality to Redfin. I mean, they're all kind of telling us the same thing. I think what we're seeing is an adaptation. I think we're seeing buyers adapting, adjusting expectations, accepting higher interest rates, and just realizing life has to move on. All right, now this is a big deal because transaction volume has been a problem. I've mentioned we've been in a transaction recession. Housing market's been pretty frozen. So if this is a new trend where buyers are just going to say, to heck with it, I'm coming back to the market, this is wonderful. This is great news. This is what we need to get the housing market moving, at least in a direction, right? All right, I don't want to overreact, because right now we've gotten some recent inflation data that is a bit scary. Mortgage rates are going to go higher, sitting at 6.5% now. Okay, oil's going up. So again, it's a good thing, but let's see where we go here in the next few months. All right, so we're entering a good psychological transition for buyers. I love that. It's not because affordability got better. It's because after 3 years, some buyers are finally saying to themselves, I can't wait any longer. Life's got to go on. That is it for me today. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. And as always, if you have questions or need specific advice, ideas, or just some help regarding your particular real estate needs or situation, or if you're just looking to buy or sell real estate in Florida, well then DM me on Instagram at The Salib Group, or just send me an email to mark@thesalibgroup.com. Don't forget to leave a rating for the show, follow, subscribe, help others find the show, and be informed and educated about the real estate market just like you. Until next time. Before we end today's show, stop what you're doing and subscribe right now to Real Estate Market Minute Plus. Listen to all episodes ad-free. Get exclusive bonus episodes and content, and help support the show's growth, longevity, and future improvements. Go to realestatemarketminute.supercast.com right now. You can also find the link in this episode's show description. Check it out. I know you'll love it.